Welcome! So today, we're diving into some pretty mind-bending ideas from Bashar, the entity channeled by Darryl Anka. We're going to tackle a huge question. If we create our own reality, why is there so much suffering? And we're also going to look at a pretty startling prediction for the year 2026. Let's jump right in.
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it, the big question that I think everyone struggles with. If it's true, if we really do create our own reality, then what's the deal with all the pain? From huge global conflicts all the way down to our own personal heartbreaks. How does that make any sense?
Well, to even begin to answer that, the source material asks us to completely reframe how we think about Earth itself and what the whole point of suffering is from a soul's perspective.
And this is where the perspective gets really different. The idea is that Earth isn't some kind of cosmic accident or a punishment. It's more like a masterclass. It's a place where eternal souls choose to come specifically for the challenges. And get this, they do it out of love, to serve as a mirror for all of humanity, showing us in no uncertain terms what beliefs and systems are broken and desperately need to change.
So, the crucial point here is that it's not about suffering just for the sake of it. It's about reaching a collective breaking point. The pain is designed to push us to the edge, to make us all finally throw up our hands and say, okay, that's it, we are done with this. How do we build something totally new so this never ever happens again? The suffering itself isn't the lesson, it's the catalyst for change.
All right, so now that we've got that framework, Earth as this intense school, let's zoom way out. Because according to Bashar, we are definitely not alone out here. And the story of one of our cosmic neighbors is meant to be a huge wake-up call for all of us.
This story of the Greys is presented as a direct warning to us. The idea is they were once a civilization very similar to our own, but they made a series of negative choices that ultimately destroyed their world and even their own biology, their ability to reproduce. So to survive, they had to genetically re-engineer themselves into the beings we now call the Greys. Bashar's own civilization, a human hybrid race, was then created in part to help humanity learn from their ancestors' mistakes so that we don't go down that same self-destructive road. And this all points to a much bigger, frankly more exciting picture. We are part of a massive galactic family. Many of these other civilizations are positive, and they're ready and willing to connect with us. But they're waiting for us, as a planet, to move past our collective fear and negativity. And here's a wild thought. The source claims that some human-looking hybrids have already been living and working among us for decades, sort of paving the way for a more open contact down the line.
So, all of this context, this whole backstory, it's all building toward a very specific, very pivotal moment that's predicted for our immediate future.
And according to Bashar, that year is 2026. It's been designated as the year of disclosure. So what in the world does that actually mean?
Now, here's the thing you have to understand. Disclosure in this context isn't just about the government finally saying, yep, UFOs are real. It's about everything. It's about all secrets, all hidden things coming bubbling up to the surface, and not just on the global stage, but inside of us too. It's a time when we will be forced to look at everything we've hidden away, and then, as a species, make a very, very clear choice about the future we want to create.
Okay, so if this massive revealing is on the horizon, what's our part in it? How do we actually participate and break free from those old patterns of fear and control that got us into this mess in the first place?
Well, it really boils down to a fundamental choice between two different frequencies, two states of being. Love is described as the natural core frequency of existence itself. It's when you're in tune with everything. Fear, on the other hand, is simply the state of being out of tune, of feeling disconnected. And that's why true power, which comes from love, feels effortless, while power rooted in fear always requires force and control to maintain itself. And this idea just completely flips our concept of strength on its head. From this perspective, violence isn't a show of power at all. It's actually a confession of complete and utter powerlessness. It's someone basically admitting, I believe I am so disconnected from my own inner strength that the only way I can make something happen is to use brute force. So let's bring this all home. What does this actually mean for you and me on a daily basis? Let's look at the practical steps that are suggested for reclaiming this forgotten inner power. So where do we even start with all this? The advice is surprisingly simple. Act on your passion. Do the thing that genuinely excites you with no expectation of the outcome. Now, the idea here is that this isn't just some nice feel-good advice. It's described as a literal mechanism of physics. Following your excitement actually physically raises your personal frequency. And when your frequency is higher, you become a much better, clearer antenna for receiving information and guidance from your own higher self. And that really brings us to the core takeaway of this whole thing. You cannot perceive what you are not the frequency of. It's impossible. You can only experience the reality that you are tuned into. So if we want to change the world we see, we have to start by changing the signal we're broadcasting. With a year like 2026 supposedly on the horizon, the real question becomes, what reality are you choosing to tune into?